I'm Hazel, it's almost Saturday today, and that makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I've been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week makes it 1 week until BlizzCon, and I have been vacillating, I'm mostly sure that's a word, between like really excited and incredibly stressed. The official schedule is now out along with the floor map, so we know what's happening. Well, we know when things are happening. We don't always know what they are, but we know where they're happening. The schedule was marked with many coming soon blocks. There were, 4 of them on Friday, and then 1 more mystery block on Saturday, so it'll be very interesting to see what those are, and it's like a handy little framework to have when making BlizzCon prediction. It's BlizzCon prediction season. So as is tradition, I'm going to stake my prediction claim in a few wacky ideas, and well, not really that wacky. The thing with predictions is that we can guess based on evidence, and then we can guess based on what we want. And if it's an evidence-based guess, it's probably not that wild of a prediction because we already know most of it, and if we don't have any evidence, and it's probably not going to happen, I don't know. I think too much about the whole thing. Anyways, things that I think are happening at BlizzCon. Obviously, new WoW expansion announcement. That would be silly if they didn't. I think it is going to involve, I'm gonna get on board the trains of level squish, faction revamp. I don't think we're necessarily merging Horde and Alliance, but I do think, or maybe want, hard to separate those two things, but I do think that they're going to kind of redo the dynamic of maybe which factions there are, how many there are, what they mean, what they restrict you from doing and what they don't. I think they may mess with the faction dynamic. I also think that thematically and like story-wise, we're going to get a lot of death-themed content. I think that's, data mined at this point. We're going to get some Lich King-y stuff, some Bolvar-y stuff. I think that Womp Zombie's going to figure in there somewhere. I also, as far as a more out there guess that I'm not sold on but would love, I'm going to say it's a new class here. I'm going to say that they're adding a new class, and ranged class, bow user, ranged class that uses bows with at least 1 healing spec, but at least 1 ranged DPS spec. We need a new ranged DPS. So, WoW prediction announcement. I also think they're announcing Diablo 4. Again, that one's kind of a, well, of course they are moment. I will be flabbergasted if they don't announce Diablo 4. I also think that there's going to be at least 1 new mobile game unveiled at BlizzCon using an existing intellectual property, like existing characters. They're gonna have to announce that absolutely after they have already rocked the stage with the blockbuster announcements of Diablo 4, a new WoW expansion, and something for Overwatch. I don't keep up much anymore. But they need to get all of the fan-friendly news out first and then squeak in the mobile game announcement at the end. And then I'm predicting that that mobile game will most likely be Warcraft IP. Second guess would be Overwatch, but most likely Warcraft IP. And I think it's going to be an AR game. I think they're going to try and do a Pokemon Go style thing. Not necessarily like a clone, but something using that sort of technology. Any other predictions? Triple musical act again, although I don't think that's really a prediction. They may have announced that already. They have, on the schedule, closing entertainment on the Saturday night, as they do, and they once again this year have that booked for 3 stages, and it's not set as like a simulcast thing like it is for the opening ceremony, so I'm assuming they're going to get 3 different musical acts. I have no idea what they are, but presumably, again, very different so that there's not something for everybody, but they hit a wider spread of their audience. And yeah, there you go. World's safest predictions. I am going to BlizzCon. I am leaving this upcoming Wednesday very early, and I'll be getting back on Sunday. So no streams. I'm going to record as much as I can and do my best to get at least a news video out on the road. So hopefully next week's Friday video may end up coming out on the Saturday or even the Sunday, but just a video kind of like this, except from a hotel room where we can talk about whatever news we find out next week, because they have to have something. For other WoW news this week, they came out with more information and kind of a little write-up, actually, on gear corruption, which is the replacement for Titanforging. So in patch 8.3, old gear, like you get something from the Arathi Warfront or a Darkshore World boss or a World Quest, that can still Titanforge, but up to the cap of 455. No further, and then new gear from the new Mythic Plus season, from the new raid, that gear will not Titanforge, and it sounds like it also will not be proccing gem sockets. Instead, the new gear will have a chance to proc as corrupted, which looks like this. The basic gist of it is that it gives you an effect that's like a written thing, that kind of like the benthic effects that we have on benthic gear. And it also gives you a corruption number, and then your character will have a corruption total that you can see in your character stats. And the higher your corruption, the more negative effects that you will have to deal with in exchange for the power of this corrupted gear. So those negative effects can be things like spawning void zones that you will have to move out of, spawning ads that you'll have to deal with, and like taking reduced healing, stuff like that. They are all personal to you. They are all your problem. If you spawn a void zone underneath you because of your corruption, nobody else has to move out of it. That's all you. And as the patch progresses, you're going to be building up resistance to corruption via your legendary cloak. You'll be leveling up your legendary cloak. So early in the patch, you're only going to be able to wear a piece or two of corrupted gear, but later on, you'll be able to wear much more of it while dealing with the same effects. So it kind of powers you up throughout the patch in that way. Corrupted items can be purified, so if you get an upgrade and you can't handle any more corruption, but you need to wear this gear and it's corrupted, you can take it to the Heartforge and have that corruption purified for free at any time. So that's not, you don't have to worry about having a thing be unwearable because it's corrupted. And the other very, very, very notable takeaway about corruption is that it is not being framed as a permanent addition to World of Warcraft. It is very much a thing as long as we're dealing with N'Zoth, which is an 8-3 thing. So that's the thing that I'm taking away the most from this system. Obviously, the system is wacky and very interesting, and it's going to be fun to see how it works out. And for me, the reason why I'm looking at this as this will be fun to see what happens, as opposed to, oh no, it's broken, because it may be kind of broken. There's a lot of obvious things to be concerned about with it, but it's for the last patch. And for me, this is just kind of their way of phasing Titanforging out, but with a bang, and in a way that'll give them interesting data about what people like about a crazy system like this and what doesn't work about it, so that they can take those lessons learning forward. We're doing a wacky science experiment in the last patch of the expansion that we can then leave behind us, and then it's a way for them to have, relinquish the Titanforging issue and stepped back from it without necessarily losing the face of just being like, you guys were right, we were wrong, we're sorry. This is, a more graceful way of exiting from it while also getting some new information. And hey, maybe it'll be super fun and they'll design a similar mechanic going forward. My biggest immediate concern with what it'll mean in 8.3 is this takes the problem of, I don't know whether or not I should wear this, and cranks it up to like 14. Because now, in addition to, of course, your Azerite and your trinkets and your secondary stats and trying to figure out what to wear in that sense, you're also going to be trying to balance your corruption total and trying to figure out which combination of corrupted gear available to you will give you the lowest total that you can handle, which, and figuring out how much corruption you can even handle while giving you the best benefit for that. That sounds like a thorny math problem that I don't know exactly how easy it's going to be to figure it out on the fly. I am afraid that I'm going to end up hanging on to so much gear so that I can swap things around to try to hit that sweet spot. Although that sounds like the thing that I should do. I think the thing that I'm actually going to do is just put on an upgrade, disenchant everything, get that out of my bags, hope for the best, and then look forward to days when gear is just gear that is what it is, and you know what it's gonna be. So that's where I'm at. I'm really interested to hear different takes on it though, because I've heard a lot of conversation about corruption, and I don't know if anybody has quite the same opinion on it, so share in the comments. Other things going on over the last couple of weeks, I have been doing the Neolotha raid testing. We have now seen over half of the bosses, and I won't spoil too much. I do plan on doing raid guides. I won't spoil too much, but I am so excited for this tier. There's 12 bosses, which is a nice, healthy, chonker, can I say that, of a raid? I think that's supposed to be for like large cats. Anyways, it's a big raid, and 12 bosses gives them the freedom to make them very different. That's the thing I'm most excited about, is testing them. It feels like there's a lot of variety, and with so many bosses, they can try out all kinds of different mechanics and setups and concepts without having to cram them all into like 6 bosses. I'm sure that we are going to get more complex encounters towards the end of the raid. We haven't tested either of the N'Zoth battles yet, but it's nice to have fights that just kind of center around a concept, and that's their thing, and they're not trying to also do a bunch of other things. I really appreciate the simpler fights that aren't necessarily easier, but are just easier for people to understand so that they can move on to trying to figure out how they're gonna do it, if that makes any sense at all. And questions from this week. Jiming asks, do you plan on meeting other streamers at BlizzCon? Some of them are even artists and devs. I think Wowhead would be holding the event, not exactly sure when and where. Seems really cool though. So on the Thursday before the convention, October 31st, also Halloween, there is the Con Before the Storm, which has been merged with the Wowhead party. That takes place in the Hilton Hotel, which is right next to the convention center, in second floor ballrooms, I believe, and there's like a meet and greet section. So I am doing a meet and greet. I have a 7 p.m. slot. It does not require a ticket, doesn't require a BlizzCon ticket, doesn't require an entry fee. It's free. So any of you around the Hilton on Thursday, October 31st, come say hi. But yeah, there's the meet and greet, and I have like a bunch of time open on Thursday. Thursday is one of my biggest time blocks. It's kind of flexible to work with, so I'm probably just gonna try and hang around anywhere that I can go that I think I might meet people and just find as many people as I can to say hi to, because I need to talk to people more, because I really want to make an effort to come out of my bubble more this year. I've been doing WoW stuff for like 6-7 years, and I have been very insulated this whole time, and I really have nobody but myself to blame for that. So I definitely want to at least get out a little bit more this year. Pandora NYC1 asks, when does the 15th anniversary in-game event start? I haven't seen anything posted on the in-game calendar about it. So you freaked me out, and I went and looked, and yeah, it's not on the calendar. It should be late November. That's when the anniversary is. I poked around a little bit and found a Wowhead write-up on the event, in the comments, mind you, not a posted guide, but it had the date slated as November 16th through 30th, which sounds right. Either way, it should be in that window, if not those exact days, and I can almost guarantee you, I betcha that we're gonna find out more specific dates at BlizzCon, because that's gonna be one of the things they're gonna want to show off there, despite the fact that we've already seen it, is just remind people that there's gonna be a Deathwing mount and you're gonna want it. Amracat asks, do you play through the Legion class halls with your alts, or is it more of getting to 120 as soon as possible with them? Definitely the second one. I get them to 120, I slap some benthic gear on them, and then they are officially tools for mount farming, or they will be when I'm farming a raid that is shorter than Siege of Orgrimmar. But now that you mention it, that's a really fun project. Back in Legion, I played through all of the class order halls as far as I needed to get all of the pets, the battle pets that were locked behind that. So I did a bunch of the Death Knight campaign because there were 3 undead whelp pets to get. It would be fun to go back and get the class mounts and see more of the different order halls. So perhaps I will, well, I don't know when, but it's a good idea. Nils asks, Hazel, how many guilds did you go through before the one you are currently in? I'm just asking because I'm thinking of leaving mine. Also, if someone would send you content they made for a video or streaming, would you as a creator yourself give them some notes on how to improve? So guilds before my current guild, just one raiding guild. I may have been in a few social guilds before then. I don't especially remember. And the raiding guild I left, not so much, it wasn't so much that I left, but the raid team kind of fell apart, and then everybody sort of went their separate ways and moved on. So really just the one. As far as reviewing other people's videos and streams, I would say no for now, just because I am not even close to caught up or stable enough with my own content and my own schedule to start like consulting. But that is like a pet dream of mine, to one day evolve like a branch of what I do into like, I specifically have this dream where I do a series where I visit streamers and make over their stream setups, because sometimes I just like to browse through Twitch and just like, I just want to reach through the screen and like adjust their lighting or fix something about their microphone or just stuff like that. I don't think I'm qualified for that. I need to fix my own setup first. I need to live a world where my camera doesn't randomly turn off because the extension came unplugged. But for like one day in the future, I'm totally interested. I just need to help myself first. I got to coach myself. Manny Bear asks, do you think you'll be getting much merch from BlizzCon? And if so, could we see a haul video? So the initial offerings that I saw online, and I posted a stream highlight about this, they were kind of underwhelming, but I know that's not all they have, because not only do they always release more BlizzCon merch after the announcements, there's a bunch of stuff in the promo images that press sites seem to have that just isn't on the store. And some of that looks interesting to me, so I will almost certainly end up with something, and I will make sure to include a segment in whatever videos I end up doing, showing you guys the goods. So that's been my week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a question you would like me to answer in a vlog, please leave it in the comments. Once again, I won't be streaming next week, kind of Wednesday through Sunday. I should be back on Monday or Tuesday-ish. I'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.